what was here before. Most of this city, with this triangular shape at least, old lid, was demolished after 48. And we have just one mosque and church here, one khan, one soap factory there, but most of it is not there anymore. First of all, the mosque and the church are the main, let's say, remains of this old city. Most of the city was demolished after 48, and so we don't have much to see, and those are the main buildings. So that you can see the entrance with the green dome and the minaret, and then to the left you can see the cross. This is the roof of the church, Al Khadir, St. George. This is the main church. So this is the main, let's say, square that still stands as it was before 48 in front of us.
We are going to the mosque and then hopefully to the church. This goes centuries ago. This is the synagogue. I think it's maybe 20, 30, 40 years old. Maybe you should ask her.
Yeah, this is Al-Umari Mosque, and we have here the inscription, Mamluk inscription, 13th century inscription, naming Baybars, this main Mamluk Sultan, donating money to rebuild the mosque. So, and you can see the greenish inscription up there with the name and the date. And today, this is one of the main mosques of the city. And back then, it was the only mosque of this old city that was here in front of us. So the inscription outside is talking about like mid 13th century, but architecture inside is talking and giving another story. So you can see if we go inside, this style of dome here, supposedly maybe it was like 11th century. You can see the style, the way that this dome is built.
I was telling him I used to come an hour before prayer, yeah, just to catch this spot. I used to my acoustic prayer. I used to come as much as I can earlier so I can pray exactly here. This is so it's how am I related? Look, I'm not a religious person now, but it's for me it's culture. It's emotional for me. This is very, very emotional.
Yeah, we meet our old neighbors. You see that those people used to live in our neighborhood. So. For me, as I see it, as long as those people are here, are present, those places will keep living. Like it's, as you know, those are just stones. Without people, they will die. But those people are really putting all of their efforts to keep them alive, and they are still in use. So I think as long as we are here, those places will still be here.
This is the church, the St. George Church. St. George, do you know him, the one with the dragon? He's buried here. So this is a very muqaddas, holy place for a lot of Christians around the world. They come once a year for the St. George holiday. We call it Eid Lid, the holiday of Lid. According to the myth, St. George was tortured and buried here by the Romans because he wanted to convert to Christianity. That's the story, because he wanted to convert to Christianity, and that was illegal back then. So they tortured him to death, and he became a saint. So the whole thing with the dragon and the metaphors and everything. So he's buried here, and for us as kids, or as he said, we call it here Eid al-Khadr. They call it St. George holiday, but for us as kids, we used to call it Eid Lid, the holiday of Lid. For us as kids, every November, this is the holiday day for us. This is full, all of it, do you see it? All of it, full of tourists, full of marching bands, full of sweets. So for me, this is childhood. We always used to come here to the holiday. This is where we always used to feel bad, الصراحة. This is where they used to slaughter the sheep as a sacrifice. So for me, this was a holiday with a lot of sweets. But as a kid, even though I was standing, not crying, but for me that was a horrible sight to see. To see hundreds of people standing and somebody slaughtering a sweet sheep. And so this is the. We're gonna ask that nice priest to open the door for us. Okay.
This is like 12th century Crusader church. It was rebuilt when the Crusaders conquered Palestine, and it was established on Byzantine church. So we can see some remains, but the main apse, and you can see the base of this dome is Crusader one. Those pillars you see here and there are originally from the Crusader period. Some of them will continue into the mosque courtyard, and the whole church was rebuilt by the end of the 19th century above the Crusader church. So the people of Lid and Jaffa and Christians from this area donated their money to create these icons, the small ones at the upper part.
This is supposedly where St. George is buried. And as I said, this is one of the most important holy places in Lid and in Christianity as well. So this is why it's a holy place. You have two kinds of weapons in Lid. A licensed one to the Jews, an illegal one to the criminal Arabs. And both of them are pointed at Palestinians.
Go there, مش راح go there. الإنجليز كانت كلها جد مخليها go there. أنا هنا أنا قومي كله بينزف كله flow like water. Can I get your order? كبسات بازوكا وإسرائيل سبونسر. عشق طايش طومل كله بينزف كله flow like water.
You see this, the second floor with the sat? Do you see, this is where Arabic hip-hop started. You see this?
Tick-tack-tock, تكتيك ابن اللي مش تكنيك جيب صعب وفير ما بطلع اذا فيش مكنيز تيك تاك توك تيك تاك تيك ابن اللي مش تكنيز جيب صعب وفير ما بطلع اذا فيش مكنيز.
احنا بالليل الساعة تقريبا 11 ثلث بالليل. اخترنا الساعات هاي عشان ما حدش يوقفنا.
تعال هون.
في علينا مليون عين. اي بوليس هذا، الثالث ولا الرابع؟ الثالث. بقديش؟
بأقل من ساعة.
بشرفك ايش جاي تشتري؟ مبينين ولا مش مبينين؟ مبينين عندك بالكاميرا ده شيء مبينين؟ ايش جايين يشتروا؟ من غير رقم السيارة، ايش جايين يشتروا؟ ناس جاية تعمل فن، هاي هدية. تنحبس إذا بتعمل فن، تنحبسش إذا بتسمع.
ولدي اشتغل عند موشة اليوم عندنا موشة.
One of the most famous albums in hip hop was called "A Fear of a Black Planet" by Public Enemy. So over here they have "The Fear of an Arab Planet." So they keep importing, as much as it sounds as a product, but that's the way it is. Importing human beings, Jews from around the world. Now, one of the most hardest wave that they brought is this one. This is called Elyashiv. Elyashiv is literally like from Hityashvut, like a settle. But when Sharon took most of the settlers outside of the Gaza, a lot of them came here. So we are talking about an extreme hardcore ideology. The same concept of the separation wall, the apartheid wall between that's surrounding the West Bank. You have it here, but instead of 9 meters, I think it's around 6 meters, and its idea is to separate the Jewish population from the Palestinian one. Again, the Palestinians and the Jews in this scenario, both Israeli citizens on paper, both pay taxes, both vote. So the separation is different. It's like separating. Why? It's not like separating Mexico from the US. It's like separating Brooklyn from Manhattan. That's the separation wall. It's separating those neighborhoods. That's the Moshav, Nir Tzvi. And it's one of the richest Moshavs in Israel. And that's the Palestinian side more. Now we are not in Dahmash anymore. Now we are in Shanir. Shanir, it's a Palestinian family that was exiled, I think, around 1948. Since 1948, Israel established more than hundreds of villages, Jewish villages, kibbutz, moshav, cities, and hardly, I think, one or two, since 1948, hardly one or two Palestinian ones. This is unrecognized, and when it's unrecognized, when it's not on the map, when it's not official, then you don't have the services. So when we step to this neighborhood, because of its history and the poverty of it, so it creates a drug market. So it's considered, as I think I said it in front of the camera, it creates one of the biggest drug spots in the Middle East. I don't know where are we nowadays, but around 2000 we were number one in the Middle East. Or at least we were number one in something.
This is the Khan, where this guy is passing. You see the arches? Those are the remains of this building that used to be occupied the central zone of this city. So it's the core of the city.
For me, Khan, before the stones and the stories, and before I knew the stories from him, and even I think before he knew the stories of Khan, for us it was a place full of the leftovers of the junkies.
Do you think if there was no Nakba, do you think Lit would be a touristic place?
I think I'll be doing some commercial hip hop. I think I'll be a multimillionaire. I wouldn't now say that it's going to be New York. I wouldn't say it's not gonna be important. I'm gonna say that most of my friends will be alive. I'm gonna say that a lot of people will be, it will be an alive place. I don't care. I'm not seeking for it to have pyramids and I know that a lot of people won't be lost or losing their lives. This is what I care for.
Tamer, do you have hope?
I cannot separate hope from pain.
How come?
They walk together. It's skin and bones. It's gonna be it is now painful what is happening in Gaza. But I think I might say I'm not hopeful, but if I'm not hopeful, then why am I here telling my story if there is no hope? So I guess there is something inside of me that believe in small changes, planting something. But for me, as I'm speaking in English, so I guess I'm addressing Western people, and my small tour is I'm gonna quote Tupac. We cannot deny that. You cannot change the world, but you can spark the minds that will change the world. And those people might, if it's for the US crowd, they can put more pressure on their congressmen, and those congressmen can be true friends for this place. And a true friend, if I'm gonna say that Israel now is drunk of power, a true friend will not let you drive because they are driving us all to hell. A true friend will stop you on the side and say, sit the fuck down, leave the wheel, let me drive.
We are actually walking on the ruins that once was occupied by people. So we are in somehow, as archaeologists, I imagine like people are still living under those pavements. Under those pavements, they used to eat, sleep. It's all, the whole old city is here. So for me, maybe it's a madness way of living. But for me, those people are still there. I at least walk here and see this new pavement, new lights. This is like not an easy way to look on it. And the more you go deep, and the more you excavate in archives, in historical documents, the more those people are coming out and asking you even, come on, tell my story. Bring me back to life.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mikhail, Tamer, and Taufik for that virtual tour. I'm gonna spotlight. Let's do this. 1 second. If you have any questions, please put it in the chat. And we're gonna get started. So in the film, Tamer, you said, I cannot separate hope from pain. And we're in a really, really difficult time right now around the world, and particularly in Palestine. How are y'all doing? Just to start off, you just watched the film that you made, I don't know, pretty recently. I know it wasn't too far back, and Mikhail just got back. How are you doing? How have the last 6 months been for you? Yeah, let's just start off with any reflections you're having after watching that, and specifically this idea of cannot separate hope from pain. Anything to say about that? Tamer, you want to go get started?
You're muted, Tamer. You're muted.
Is it good now?
Yeah.
How can I see everyone? Because I'm looking at myself. And
Press on the gallery on the right side, there's a view, and press view gallery.
Can't see it. Okay.
The top right, it says view. And then you can personally change your view to see everybody so that you don't have to look at yourself.
Well, I can't find it. It's okay. So, on the last few 6 months were, let's start with sad. It is still sad. It is still happening. Of course, we are safe, considering what is happening in Gaza. It is just a heartbroken, and it triggered memories. It triggered memories we never had, like a second Nakba. That's so it's. I was born in '79, not in '48, so I've never witnessed Nakba, only by stories, and it kind of triggered like memories I've never had, but it just felt like I was there. So I guess now every day we wake up and we just hope that this madness will stop in Gaza. A lot of Lid is there's a lot of citizens here who have a lot of families in Gaza. El Nafar family lost around 12 family members. One of them is a famous poet called Salim Nafar. I even wrote an article about him in The Guardian. And the Al-Awadi family from my mom's side lost around 15 members. And I was, and suddenly it raised a lot of stories from my aunties, from my mom, like, yeah, we used to go there when we were 5, when we were 6. So it's just, but if I want to sum it in one word, it's just sad and painful.
Yeah. Very, very painful times we're in. Thank you for sharing. Tawfiq or Michelle. Michelle, thank you for this beautiful video. It was really beautiful, incredible. And I also want to name Nancy is here in the Zoom with us from Gaza right now. So I don't know, Nancy, if you want to be included in the conversation right now or not, but this is super transparent.
Thank you. That was beautiful. We're a little bit choppy, so I'll let this keep going, and then we can come in at the end if you want. But I love seeing my brothers. You guys are amazing. Shukran, yani. Allah yatiku alf afiyah.
Thank you, Nancy, and hope you're safe.
عم نجرب عم نحاول إن شاء الله خير.
Thanks, Nancy. So glad that you're here and so glad you are safe right now and with us. Tawfiq or Michelle, any reflections? Just an initial. We'll be looking at the questions from the chat. If folks have questions, please do put them in here.
Tawfiq, can you see the chat? And Tamer.
We're kind of trying to collect them and put them in, but right now this is just opening reflections. You know, Mikhail,
No,
I know
I can actually see it, but I'm just asking if the guys can, so they can answer the questions, because I can see a few questions. I mean, most of the questions are concerning Lid, and you guys are from Lid, so you can answer it. Yeah, go for it.
Tawfiq, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I just got my eyes on one of the comments, like stories from the past are, and now I lost it, but stories from the past are so important, maybe especially happy ones. It shows the strength of the Palestinian community. So yeah, this is actually part of my research, I have to say. I dig back to the past. I try to look on life back then, before the Nakba. So that's why I decided to start from the mid 19th century, when the city was alive, when the city was part of the whole Palestine or the whole Bilad al-Sham, the whole region. People were actually living their quiet life and practicing their habits, their religion in different ways. And we just by Michel's camera, we just got into the mosque and the church, and we saw those few remains. So there were much more there, buildings and. So yeah, we are looking for the happy or the normal, let's say, past. But unfortunately, the present keeps dragging us back to the Nakba, to the destruction. And what does it mean to lose a place in all sense? So it's, and I have to say, I myself never imagined that I will witness such a destruction. I was like, I live in a kind of imagined world, as you saw. I imagine people under pavements and streets, like so. So it was good when it was just like imagining the destruction or imagining it. Now it is so hard to watch it going on a couple of minutes from us. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Tawfiq. And I saw there was a question about if there's any writings you have, and so I don't know if that is we can put some resources in the chat later. Mikhail, do you have any initial reflections?
I just want to make a small comment about the film. I just want to say that there's a lot more about Lid. We actually filmed a lot more. We even filmed a few more locations that I did not include in the video, as Tawfiq and Tamer are really like, they have a lot of information. They're such informative two guys. So I couldn't just squeeze everything into 15 minutes. If you can see, the video was even 19 minutes. So I think there are major topics. I mean, there are topics inside Lid that can make feature-length films, like the drug topic by itself. If you want to dig deep in it, you will. You can actually make a feature-length documentary just about the drugs. History-wise, there's a lot more on Lid, and Tawfiq knows a lot about that, and he researched a lot about that, and you guys should feel free to ask him questions. It's his specialty. I just wish I had longer time to make the film, and I want to include a lot. I actually now I'm inspired to go back to Lid and make a feature-length documentary about it. It's quite interesting. So that's all I have to say. I mean, if you want to know about me, I'm from Jerusalem, so if it's the most complicated area in Palestine. So if you have any questions about Jerusalem, but today's topic is Lid, so maybe later or one day.
Yes, we'll have to have you make a film about Jerusalem with us, because you're filmmaking.
It'd be my pleasure.
Yes, thank you so much. And I'm gonna put us all in the room together so that now we can all see each other. And folks have any.
If I can answer Michel's comment, yes, we would love to have more features and documentaries about Lid, but actually there is a feature movie that was made by me and Udi Aloni. It's called Junction 48. And I think it's the only feature movie that was made about Lid. We will, maybe through Nancy, we will find a way to show it to you.
That would be great. That would be great. I agree. I loved seeing some of the places we got to see. Tamer, when on my delegation, you jumped on the bus and then jumped off the bus, so we got to walk around a little bit, but not with your commentary. So it was really great to have your perspective in the places that some of us who have been on delegations with Eyewitness Palestine might have gone to some of those locations ourselves. I see there's a couple of questions in the chat. Folks can come off mute to ask them if they'd like. Paula, I see one from you. Would you like to just ask it? Come off mute and say it yourself.
Yeah, it's just because I so love slingshot hip hop. So, and you talked about hip hop music, and I want to know, who were your early influences? I know you talked about Tupac and Public Enemy. And the second question is, how did you hear the music? How did you get the music? Where did it come in? Was it black market? Was it just people bringing it in? Yeah, like that.
And you might be on mute if you're talking. Tom.
Yeah.
I need to get used to it. It was mostly black market. It was back then cassettes and then CDs. I witnessed that change in the evolution. I witnessed that. But basically, we had Ethiopian neighbors. The Ethiopian neighbors connected to it color-wise. And you know, we all had TV and we had shows like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So it just connected those things. And even though if we didn't know it was hip hop, but MC Hammer was all over the place with his songs back then. I think it was Too Legit to Quit or Can't Touch It. I can't remember. But it was, and of course, Michael Jackson was all around the world. And he had that Jam song where I think he featured Heavy D. So it was there. We didn't know the name of it, but it was there. And I think I first knew the name of it, I think if I'm not wrong, from that Ethiopian friend. Because he was like, no, this is not real hip hop. This is pop. You should listen to Tupac. And it just carried on. And Tupac influenced me like passion-wise, but when you get into hip-hop, you fall in love with other artists. You fall in love with the storytelling of Biggie. You fall in love with the intellectuality of Black Star. I can be very, very, very entertained by Lil Wayne's punchlines, Eminem's syllable. I can talk for 2 hours. Unfortunately, I can talk about hip-hop more than Lil. So I hope I answered you. So.
Yeah, thank you. Shukran.
Yeah. There's a question from Anne. Anne, do you want to ask your question? Come off mute.
Yeah, yes, I can. Thank you. The church was beautiful, by the way, the icons. And I just wondered, I was on a tour there last spring and in the West Bank, not in your area, but they said that the Israel authorities were going to come in and try to create, settle some disputes among families, but that might just be a way to sort of control things more. And I just wondered if the drug sales, if they are trying to tamp that down, or if they just want to kind of let it go as a way of creating problems, or, if you could comment about the security situation. Thank you. I hope that's I hope that question is clear. I just wondered if they're really trying to stop the drug sales or not.
I mean, I can just quickly answer this. The only thing that's going down in price in Palestine is drugs. So you have the answer. The only thing. Everything's getting more expensive, but drugs is getting really cheaper and more accessible. So who controls this?
That's wild.
Yeah.
That is totally wild. Thank you, Mikhail. Sage, there's a question you had. Do you want to come off mute and ask it?
Yeah, hi. Thank you all so much for being here. My question is about support from the international community. As a student in the States, I feel kind of confused in how I can show up in solidarity because our government, as well as the UN and our Congress people, have made it clear that they aren't necessarily liable to answer to the voices of the people and can act on their own behalf and on the behalf of systems of power. So I'm just curious to hear y'all's thoughts and reflections in terms of what types of solidarity are helpful from the international community and from people in the US or students or yeah.
I think when the destruction is so big, sometimes we don't see the small steps, because everything is small steps. And I don't have a strategy or something, but if I breathe, I think that delegations like this. What is Nancy's doing? When Michelle leaves everything and he flies from London to film it. When Tawfiq is sharing with us all of his, it's like a puzzle. It's a puzzle of 75 years of small pieces. It's bigger than a puzzle. It's Fusayfisa even in mosaic. What do you call it? Somebody else? Fusayfisa mosaic.
Yes, it is mosaic. Yes, you're right, Tamer.
Okay. So it's just pieces, and it's very hard for us to see. But from movies I watch, from documentaries I watch, from history channels that I watch, I mean, there's a lot of people who were who weren't free, and I think if you ask them 5 minutes before they got free, they wouldn't believe it. So I just really hope that we are part of the small steps. So just let's keep our head up and continue.
Thank you, Tamar. There's a question from Callie about the. Oh, Callie, you want to ask your question?
Yeah, as I watched the filming that you did, I noted that there are very, very few people on the street. And is that because of the area that we were in, or is there simply not much foot traffic?
Is that a question for me?
I guess it's for whoever is willing to answer it, because there may be more than one opinion.
Yeah, I mean, why is there a few people in Lid? Maybe Tamer and Tawfiq can answer. But first, we cannot show faces easily doing these films. We need to be licensed to do that, and we're not really doing this. Second, it's Ramadan, so you might not find a lot of Palestinians on the streets.
Yeah. Okay.
They're fasting. Third, I think the whole the situation all over Palestine and even in the Palestinian areas inside Israel is very, very tense. So you will not find that energy in the streets. And fourth, Lid is not a metropolitan city. You're not going to see any London imagery in Lid. It's basically like that. So probably on a Thursday afternoon, or maybe when there are I don't know, holidays, you could find more people in the streets. But those are the reasons that I can think at the top of my head why there were not much people in the streets and why you didn't see them in the camera as well.
Okay. All right, thanks. Well, I live in El Paso, and there's certain times that downtown El Paso looks like it's empty too. But I live here, so I can guess why that is. And I remember in 2017 being with what was then Interfaith Peace Builders, being in Bethlehem and being right next to that wall. It's unreal. And I had gone to Palestine because I was watching walls being built between El Paso and Mexico. And I mean, it's not a great thought, but I thought, okay, well, here are walls, and I know that Israel knows how to build walls too. I'll go and see what those do to people. And obviously, it stays with you when you see that.
And it's the same companies, the same contractors, same corporations.
Other than Lid is it is Ramadan. It is we filmed in times of hours that people were in school. But in general, Lid is not a really activated city. But I'm sure Tawfiq can share stories of the history where it was a city with action, with movement, with dynamics. Because it was Tawfiq, if you can pick it up from here, just to share the stories of Lid, that it was in between, as you said, Bethlehem and Jerusalem, and so it was full of action, right?
Yeah, like it's, looking for people. First, we were like walking around the old city or the remains of the old city. So most of the, like, let's say, commercial centers, all of those are in the new city, the Israeli city, let's say. So this is somehow far from where we were filming, and those ghosts from the past, even they were erased 80 years ago, they still exist. So the city is empty out of giving space to the ghosts that used to live there. So you are like, we are walking there with our new devices and vehicles, but it is somehow like a catastrophe zone. And that's why what we try to show with the old photo, like it used to be vibrate with people. And even if you kill the people or expel the people or destroy the place, I think there's some spirit, or again ghosts, that are still dwelling there, and they occupy the space. That you don't see them with your sophisticated cameras, but they are there. And they somehow connect to us. We understand their language. We understand their gestures. So yeah, this is that's, I think, this is the main reason why you don't see people there. It's not a normal place like the places you are living in, people. It is a place that once in one action or in one devastated act lost all meaning and lost shape and life.
Thank you. That's really helpful to hear. And I do believe that there's not a lot of reality that we can't visualize.
To be honest, it's just not different for a delegation for America. I remember when I started having a lot of friends outside of Lid, like in Haifa, which is like 75 minutes from here, or Nazareth, which is less. It's here. I can drive there. When people come here, first of all, we go there. They hardly come here. I have to really invite them to come here because it's not a place where people just come to it. But even Palestinians who are living an hour away from here, 40 minutes away from here, when they come to Lid, they are shocked. It's just a different city. It's really a different city, for good or bad. Mostly bad, unfortunately.
Yeah, thank you, Callie, and thank you for answering that question. So honestly, y'all, it's it is like you're saying, not normal. These aren't normal situations, and that's part of why Eyewitness Palestine is trying to kind of educate and motivate folks to really understand what's happening, because obviously our mass media is not telling us things. So thank you to Mikhail for bringing the video to us, and Tawfiq and Tamar again for hosting the tour. There's a couple of more questions. I know we're running on time. I don't know if we'll get to all of them. Nancy, you had a question about the church specifically. I don't know if there's a specific question you wanted to ask about the church. And you're on mute.
Sorry. I just was fascinated by the images, and I just my hearing isn't the greatest, and somehow in the audio I didn't get as much information as I would have liked about the history of that building. It sounds like it's been long-lived with lots of overlays of faiths and cultures, and I just would like to know a little bit more about it, or a link to where I could read and find out more about it.
I just dropped a link into the chat to my page in Academia Edu, so you can read more maybe about my research about the city. There is more there. And yes, we of course we entered those old buildings just to show how much the place used to be rich. Like, so not everybody can talk with stones like we archaeologists. Sorry, so we are better with stones than with humans. So but those stones are really talkative. You can see 11th century, 6th century, you can go back. So it is standing. And our goal is to just to show how diverse and rich and colorful the place used to be. And for us, it's not past, it's the present in many ways. So it's we are living there with those remains inside those ruins. Again, I'm going back to my ghosts, with those ghosts somehow. So it's for some people, people coming to visit or to as pilgrims, they come, they look for the past. For us, it's a present somehow. So that's why we are interested in, and this present is part of our current complicated and crucial, like really reality. So yeah.
I know we're coming on time. I'm
Thank you.
gonna combine 3 questions, and then maybe each of you can just give a reflection to the 3 questions combined. So Jill had asked, art and creative expression helps people stay human through terrible and traumatic experiences and conditions. She's curious to hear the speaker's perspectives on how artistic expression has helps cope with the ongoing challenges of living in occupied Palestine. Laura asked around a question around seeing any changes in solidarity movements in terms of understanding more deeply the roots of the current phase of genocide and hopes for solidarity activists in the US, particularly being able and willing to reflect, follow, and understand Palestinian leadership for solidarity. And then Sasha asked, even amidst genocide, do you feel liberation is closer than ever before? And would love to hear from each of you in this kind of final question.
Somebody from you guys can pick it up because the audio and the question was not clear for me. So if somebody can pick up the question and I can continue from there.
Like I can go back somehow and talk about art in a way, like for me, what Michel did is a piece of art, the way he looks on things and produce somehow part of our reality is a way using aesthetics to transfer or to deliver our message to the world. So as you can see, I can be like boring with my talk or slow, but Michel was like really cutting things, playing with aesthetics, with colors, and this is really helpful for the message and helpful for us. It's of course I can speak also a lot about Tamer's art. Is for us it's a big hope, like it's making, you know, those are flowers flourishing on ruins, and it is really bringing a lot of hope. So that's my perspective, at least.
Thank you, Tawfiq. Mikhail and Tamar, I put it in the chat in case, since the sound didn't come through.
Yes, I'll read it from the chat.
Mikhail, any final thoughts?
I'm reading the question again, but generally, I mean, art is I don't know if you can, art is like the mother of all resistance. And we Palestinians are born with responsibility to resist. It's not just a luxury to resist, it's a responsibility. So each finds his way. Me personally, I found my way through film, and I make sure that in every film I make, I deliver the message, I deliver reality. And yes, it does help to get creative and to work with your mind and your hands. It does help, and it does give you what do you call it in English? It does give you kind of a satisfaction, but we are never there until we get free. And as Tawfiq is an archaeologist, but also art historian, so I see him as an artist as well. Spending a day with him, I understood a lot about his art. I did not have much idea about archaeology, but spending a day with Tawfiq made me really understand how can you transfer this type of art to resistance. And between the three of us, I think Tamer has the highest resistance art. I mean, I grew up listening to Tamer. We have, between me and Tamer, there's a 10-year difference in age. So when Tamer was 20 years old and was a young upcoming artist, he was actually, it's good to know, it's good for all of you to know that Tamer is not the first Palestinian rapper. Tamer is the first Arab rapper. So he's, to us Palestinians, he's major. To Lid, he's major. Lid is very important because from Lid, the Arab hip hop and not just the Palestinian hip hop started, which is a very major thing to us artists. So yeah, to answer the question of creativity and using creative tools to resist, it is a valid thing, and this is what we do, and this is what we will always do, because we have not much other ways of resistance. I mean, a lot of people choose other ways, but we creatives, let's call ourselves, this is the only tool we have. So this is what we do to resist. And the second question, I'm sorry, but I can't find it. Not boring.
Somebody asked about George Habas. Yes, he's from Lid. We call him the doctor, Hakim. Yes, he's originally from Lid.
What's that? Did you share the questions in the chat?
Yes, yes. It was just kind of trying to put together a question, the one around art, and then there was one about the understanding more about solidarity during this current phase of genocide. And
yes, to be honest, I'm not really sure what your mass media is showing you in the States and in other countries, but I mean, we Palestinians, I mean, I live between Palestine, between Jerusalem and London, and I can see a major shift in the public opinion, in the mainstream media, even in governments. There's a major shift towards our cause as Palestinians, towards better. It's because it seems like all of you people, even people in governments, even media, started to feel that it's not just a Palestinian cause, it's a worldwide cause. I mean, if Israel is really normalizing what's happening, it's coming on all of you guys. So this is why I feel there's a major shift. I mean, I've been coming to London for quite a few years, and I've seen the demonstrations that happened, but seeing 1 million people in the streets screaming Free Palestine in London, with maybe 10-15% Arabs and like 80% from all over the world is no joke. It's a major thing to us, and it's a major thing to the world. So solidarity movements do work. The apartheid in South Africa was stopped by solidarity movements that started in London, actually. So like people going in the streets will push decision makers in their own country to suffocate a regime like Israel. And this is the only way to stop. I mean, none of you can just like kick Israel out with military means, or the only way is to just suffocate that regime, stop the money, stop the arms, stop the good word of mouth, stop defending a lie. So that's what solidarity is. Just speak out. And if you want to be, if there's a guy, I forgot his name a few minutes ago, asked the question, like, what can we do? I think seek to become a leader in your community and speak out. That's what you do. That's how you help Palestine. And that's how you help yourself, actually. And that's how you help your country. And I have hope, because it seems like, especially in the States, it seems like the new generation, everybody below 30 understands, and those are the leaders of the future. We still have, I mean, the people leading your country are still living in darkness, so we're not expecting any major change soon, but it seems like it's going to a brighter place, because the new generation is quite more thoughtful and more understanding and more awake and kind of more human for some reason. Yeah, solidarity works, and we hope. I mean, look at this. I can see a mosaic of screens. That's enough of solidarity for us. It's just you, all of you being here, honestly. So we respect that, and we really respect Eyewitness Palestine and similar bodies. So keep going, speak out, don't be shy. That's what we ask you to do.
Thank you so much, Mikhail. Thank you again so much for this beautiful film that we'll keep. There's a bunch of praise and a love of the film, and asking how can we see it if we missed it. So be sure that we're going to continue to be working with Mikhail in creating videos for y'all, and we'll be figuring out a way to share this video for folks who weren't able to watch it. Just want to lift up Paula's "It always seems impossible till it's done." That's really coming up as you're sharing, Mikhail, right? Like this liberation will happen in our lifetimes. Those of us who truly know that in our hearts. Tamar, do you want to share before we close up? Nancy's here, and I wanted to kind of give Nancy a moment to speak to before we close out. But Tamar, you want to give your thoughts?
No, thank you. Thanks for everyone. And I think I want to listen to Nancy as well. So I'll let her talk.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for all of your contributions today and thoughts. Nancy, it's really, really wonderful to see your face. So can you just share a little bit right now?
Hi. Yeah, I can't really share too much. There's like constant drones, so I don't feel. All I will say is, we'll definitely speak when we get back in a couple of weeks. But I do want to just say that it is beyond what anyone can ever imagine, and for Palestinians, like, to see our people in a state that they're in is I can't even explain it. Like, I've had to take notes of things because it's just too much. But one thing my friends from Gaza always said to me is like, it's like we're here just waiting to die, and now I know what that feels like. You know what I mean? And it's like literally you think you're gonna die every 5 seconds. And it's a crazy feeling, and it's fine because we chose to be here and do the mission that we're doing. But for the kids, for the grown-ups, for everybody, for the 2.4 million people that live in Gaza, they've been living like this, and it's beyond anything that you can ever try to begin to understand. And I just tell people to keep supporting, keep spreading the news, do whatever you can to support, and we'll definitely give you like a more in-depth. It's been a lot. There is so much I want to talk about, and it's I can't right now, but it's they are bombing Rafah all day. And yeah, it's yeah, I can't say too much, but I appreciate everybody. This was beautiful, beautiful video. Thank you, Tamer. Shukran, Tawfiq. Really appreciate you and Michelle. Beautiful work as always. And yeah, we'll definitely, you know, give you a full update on everything. Beautiful children, you know, beautiful people. One thing our people haven't lost is their kindness. It's amazing. You know, like we brought canned foods and people giving us food, like cooking for us and neighbors. And I'm like, what are you doing? Khalas ya ammi. It's yeah, it's a lot, but you know, the people still beautiful always. The situation is another discussion. But thank you, everybody. Thank you, Trish. Everyone, I see all the board members. I love you all.
Thank you, Nancy. We're sending you so much love, and we look forward to hearing your full report when you guys safely return. Thank you again, Tamer, Tawfiq, Mikhail. Thank you so much. Really, really appreciate y'all. Looking forward to continuing to build with y'all. And Aubrey, Paula, and Khaled, thank you for supporting. Nancy, thank you. It's, you know, the middle, well, it's not the middle of the night, actually. It just looks very dark there. But thank you all. Thank you all for joining. I'm gonna stop recording now. And